Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Overwatch Open. This is the final series of the night. We will be determining what extra team here will be going to Atlanta, what team will be watching from home. The action begins right here, right now on Kings Row.
SODIPOP versus HUCKLEBERRY, or I'll be your HUCKLEBERRY in its extended form. I was not expecting to see them here, actually. CLG, I had high hopes for them because during the qualifiers of this very tournament, they got past a full Northern Gaming Red roster when they still had Chance and Wolf and everybody, the very solid crew that they walked past. I thought they were going to be able to do the same here in this group, but I gave them even 50% odds against SODIPOP, and SODIPOP kind of shredded them. So HUCKLEBERRY, you know, taking advantage, maybe kicking them while they were down a bit with the unexpected victory, but PyHero and Wyatt R both had a lot of moments of brilliance there in the previous match. We'll see if they can get it done here against SODIPOP.
Well, they are going to be coming out here with the defensive fair of all things to start things out. That's going to be up against the offensive Roadhog, so a little bit of variation both sides. GrimReality rushing in, looking for the pick. Not going to get it just yet, but it's a quick blitz offense by SODIPOP. They're not really being tentative at all. They're going right on top of the point. But thus far, they're not quite getting what they're looking for, and they do give the fair a bit of respect as they back out at least a little bit. Both teams just jockeying for position right now.
When I saw that Wyatt had the golden Farah rocket launcher, I was just shocked that he used it to great effect. And so far this fight, it's been a lot of poke on both sides. Wyatt actually making great use of that extended range on the Farah, while the rest of the attacking team actually just trying to find their angles. Good kill there on Nomi, and he's still just pouring damage in.
Yeah, he's able to go right in, keeps up the pressure, is pushing the offense back. This is where defense needs to be careful and not be so aggro that they put themselves in a rough position, but they do enough and they back right out, and right now the defensive fair is working out, and GrimReality saying enough of this, it's time for everyone's favorite cowboy.
This is just giving me flashbacks to like excellent tailspin barrages and ID barrages and everyone just playing fair all the time. I long for those days, and Wyatt, I hope that he is the catalyst to get that started again. But GrimReality, definitely a great McCree player, should be looking to try and take him out as much as possible.
Golden Gun versus Golden Rockets, it will be on the menu here right now. Soundbear is out from SODIPOP. They're going to use that to rush right in, taking the initiative. They get the first pick off, but GrimReality is dead, and that means no one is here to check Wyatt R. Barrage might be on the menu here in just a moment. Will it happen? He's in the hotel. He's not near the fight. Got out of things as Transcendence came down. Moving over the top. Here comes the Barrage.
Ooh.
Justice Rain from above, but the laser melting him from below, and that's going to be SODIPOP breaking open this point.
Just off on the timing, unfortunately. Could have had the beautiful Graviton Surge barrage of yesteryear, and instead the barrage is a bit early, Graviton Surge a bit late, a little bit disjointed. Zarya able to just look up and blast her out of the sky. Hype here on the Zenyatta, waving to no one in particular, but they are going to get that payload started here for the Streets phase. The defense is going to need to regroup. They have a Junkrat in play now off of the Farah. Wyatt is going to be playing Junkrat. Very similar character, honestly. Similar amount of damage, and can spam those chokes quite well.
And yet still strange, because when you see a Junkrat, you don't usually see a Junkrat get played in the Streets phase. That's more of a first point setup, at least in comp. You see it in pubs more often, but you see everything in pubs more often. So it's still strange nonetheless. But here comes Hype. He's looking to drop this Graviton here any second. SODIPOP looking awfully aggressive right now. But if they do this, they're going to be running into both Death Blossom and Earth Shatter, so I don't know about this. They're being aggressive. This might end up blowing up their faces. Here comes the Graviton. It runs to Soundbear, and Pie here on the back. The Death Blossom takes out two. And Joshy, was that a good idea from SODIPOP?
I don't know, man. Everything in that fight, in the entrance to that little squeezed area, actually went the way of HUCKLEBERRY. So SODIPOP, they did use a couple of ults there, did not actually get the payoff they were looking for. It's hard to say if it was a good idea going into it, but it definitely did not play out very well.
They had to have known that a Soundbearer is up and ready for them there, and the Soundbearer just kind of ruined their day. So I don't know. I just don't think they were keeping track of the HUCKLEBERRY ult at all, and HUCKLEBERRY with the good punish, both good support play and good play by Pyro going to the back. But here comes SODIPOP. They're running right in. Here comes the defensive tire. Rolling in, does not get what it's looking for. Getting awfully close, though, actually.
Yeah, if he had just rolled a little bit further past that Reinhardt shield, could have stopped this push dead in its tracks, to be honest. But a little bit itchy trigger finger, perhaps, from the Junkrat. Used to be playing Farah, so can definitely understand that. Soundbear comes out. Deadeye is going to allow him lots of time to try and find those skulls, but the Graviton Surge grabs up his entire team. Thankfully, that Reinhardt shield is there to keep everyone alive. No one falling on the offense yet. Zenyatta Transcendence going to keep it going here for the offense. Good kill there on PyHero. GrimReality doing his job.
Yep, Tyre came out in the middle of the fight, took out Hype, but still 3 kills here from SODIPOP. They are able to get the push that they need. GrimReality, as mentioned, does land the poke, is going to land the cleanup as well. That's a triple kill cleanup at the very end. GrimReality showing my McCree is so good towards the end of fights there. 5 minutes remaining on the clock, and SODIPOP is setting a pretty darn quick time right now versus HUCKLEBERRY.
GrimReality has to be turning some heads throughout this event. He is just on fire with his McCree play against great teams, including Cloud9 earlier tonight, so have to be getting some recognition, some notoriety for that guy. Wyatt R here on the Genji. This is his third character throughout this defense, and he is just trying all the different projectile characters until something sticks.
Well, hopefully the thing that sticks are shurikens from his point of view. Defensive sound barrier is out. Huckleberry moving in, but that was a really early defensive sound barrier. SODIPOP had all the time in the world to back out, and Joshi, that felt like a bona fide waste.
It gave them control of the cart, but only for such a short time, and definitely felt like a waste to me as well. And as we move in here, White are actually getting the backline, trying to find that Zenyatta kill. He's extremely low on health if he can just get in there, but he is being defended by the Genji agilities for SODIPOP. White actually goes down there, but all in all, the cart is not being pushed. Defense still standing.
Yep, the offense, though, they haven't given up entirely. That was sort of back and forth on both sides. Neither team suffering a full and total defeat. Hyped is still super charged up. He's amped as Zarya. High energy indeed. Does have the Discord Orb, has to back it a bit, but you look at this. SODIPOP is going to be ready for the re-engage here any second. Dragon Blade is on the menu right now for agility, so he's going to be looking to go in. Here comes Pyhero, who's coming in from the back. Death Blossom is ready. He's looking to drop down. Q is set. It's armed. Here he goes. Moves to the back. Doesn't like what he sees and has to back out.
He got the Harmony Orb, but he also caught a Discord Orb while he was up there, so they did spot him. He decided not to Death Blossom. Graviton Surge plus Dragon Blade, though, working out for Agilities, finally getting it in on the mix. Grim Realities was stealing all the kills before, but now Agilities with 4 kills, all full percentages there, doing a great job. Pyhero manages to survive and gets 3 kills with the counter Death Blossom.
Pyhero potentially keeping the defense alive here, but only if they can reinforce it a little bit. The respawns will overwhelm the remaining members of SODIPOP if they have a chance, but Hype doing his job, gets the kills he needs to on the cart. Wyatt are going to get knocked out of that Diva mech in the offense. If they can get the respawns in, they should be able to knock everything out. As Wyatt are gets knocked into the abyss. Good night. Offensive SODIPOP is starting to reestablish here. They just need a little bit more. Grim Reality gets that back line, and as much as defense is streaming in, it does look rather bad. Sound Bear comes up, but it's pure desperation. Pyhero goes down. That's a soldier sighting, even though he died immediately.
Hype got 3 kills as Zen as they were streaming out, and that was enough to give him this Transcendence. Graviton Surge, actually just tons of kills going in every direction. It's going to be SODIPOP setting a time here, just about 6.5 minutes, but look at that last stretch on the kill feed. Hyped and Hype combining for something like 7 or 8 kills in the last 2 little trickle defenses.
I will say this, though, from the defense, it was a good job to actually just, for Huckleberry, to just buy as much time as they did. Certainly, it's still going to be a rough time for them to beat, but it went from, I'm not going to say impossible, but just very unlikely time to beat to, all right, they can potentially do this if everything goes right for them as they move forward, which is a possibility here. So I don't necessarily think SODIPOP can breathe easy. It's not a bad effort from Huckleberry, but they're going to need to step things up just a little bit more if they want to turn this in their favor into the next round.
Yeah, this is somewhat of an average time. Really could go either way. We saw an incredibly fast Streets and final stretch push from Cloud9 earlier today, so we know that it's definitely possible to burn through SODIPOP's defense, at least if you are on the ball. On the defense now, SODIPOP will be leaving the base there with the standard 6 again on Kings Road defense. Huckleberry most likely just messing with us right now with the Torb and Mei. Definitely don't expect to see both of those, possibly just a Mei. We have seen actually some strange shenanigans with that just to try and trip up the defense.
Every now and then the teams that are on attack really do like messing with the casters, going, by the way, Torb. Sometimes there's actually a ritual going on inside the spawn where you have a turret down and both teams are, or everyone in there dancing around the turret. It's some real, like, certain level stuff. But
you get kind of bored.
Either way, take a look here at the SODIPOP defense. Relatively standard right now. It's going to be Nomi on the Reinhardt, Hyped on Zarya, Grim Reality on, of course, McCree, Jaren the Lucio, Agilities on Reaper, and Hype on Zenyatta. So they're going to try to true here. Nothing too tricky. And Huckleberry, I expect to see somewhat similar from them as they take on the offensive side.
Now I think it's definitely going to be a switch. What will it be here from Wyatt? Could be the Genji, could be the Pharah. It is going to be the offensive Pharah on Kings Row. I was just talking with Fishsticks in the back about how Kings Row is a potential spot for a great place to break chokes open.
The weird thing is, though, it's Pharah, but without Pharah's best friend, Mercy.
Right.
Of course, Mercy isn't all that loved in this meta, but it was pretty vital to go forward. Wyatt right now in trouble, getting all sorts of hits, will get taken out, but did get Grim Reality a bit out of position, so it was a trade 1-for-1. Wasn't the worst in how it worked out. And right now, the offense actually getting the picks they need. SODIPOP will not be able to reinforce this in all likelihood.
Huckleberry doing a great job eliminating Hype. Pyhero with the Tracer play was on McCree and Reaper a bit earlier. Tracer now making an appearance. Note is going to be flying forward on that Diva, trying to absorb any stray Zarya ultimates or bombs. Wyatt back on the Pharah now, getting in as much damage as he can into this trickle-in defense. Already one tick secured here.
Yep, one ticket is secure, and HUCKLEBERRY, they're just going to keep on the pressure right now. SODIPOP desperately trying to reinforce. They're doing an okay job trying to hit him with a pulse bomb, ending Nomi's chances of a game-breaking Earth Shatter. That is going to be HUCKLEBERRY taking control at this point, and time-wise, they've given themselves a decent amount of time. I mean, that was quick. It was a good strike, and now if they go through Streets phase with the same level of momentum, they do have a chance of taking this away from SODIPOP.
Very promising. Under a minute, actually, or just right about a minute. Wyatt R still on that Pharah. Will he work his way back to the spawn to switch it up? Probably. I'm expecting a Reaper more often than not from this to... Oh, wow. Wyatt R on the Junkrat, offense Junkrat here.
So that's interesting, especially given he's about to have a barrage up, I think.
Right.
So offensive Junkrat here in Kings Row. I mean, it's not totally impressive, but we don't really see it all out. Hype right now, waiting to drop the Graviton. Doesn't want to get eaten. It does get eaten by the D.Va defensive matrix. He didn't hold off for long enough. That ultimate is gone. It is into the ether. Both teams throwing out kills right now, so not the worst for the defense necessarily, but I bet they wish they had actually landed the Graviton.
Very atypical from Hype to do something like that. I mean, he puts in tons and tons of games as Zarya. That was actually something that I was hyping him up a bit about yesterday, was his Zarya play. He did such a good job on Roadhog, of course, instead. But yeah, just dumping the Graviton Surge into the defensive matrix. No excuse for that. Grim Reality gets the sound barrier here, running forward, trying to get some headshots. D.Va ult actually going to try and deter them, but no kills for it.
Yep, no kills from just yet. The offense moves forward. The Junkrat able to take out Lucio right away, so that is a big support pick coming out here from the side of HUCKLEBERRY. They're going to keep it moving forward. Pyro on the way, but Nami exploding! Earth Shatter sets him up for 3 kills. The defense of SODIPOP is not done yet. Grim Reality still in the back line, and he might be the poke they need to fish this out. Looks for Pyhero, is going to take him out with the aid of agilities, and Pharaoh left all alone on an island. The Peacemaker bullets finish him off.
I feel like it's pretty rare that a team defends at this close to the checkpoint on Kings Row. Really just one good ult combo can just secure that checkpoint. So SODIPOP definitely need to be aware of that, set up their positioning as best they can. They've got Nomi in the front here, agilities up above, does not have, actually does have Death Blossom, so we could be seeing a sneaky multi-kill coming up here.
Well, agilities is perfectly set up. He's going to be looking to cash that check right now, has Death Blossom at the ready, is trying to be sneaky. I don't think they saw him just set up. D.Va knows where he is. He's just going to potentially speed boost in. He hits Q anyways, gets right to the back. Oh no!
What
that is a disaster! The Junkrat mine sent him into them! No!
I've got
like this.
So many like quick play moments where that happens, where the flying Death Blossom just mows down the enemy team. I don't think I've ever seen that in a match that I've casted. It is beautiful. Wyatt R on the offensive Junkrat basically just gives SODIPOP a multi-kill.
Oh my goodness, that is. If we can have a soundboard here,
like
Price
crying,
is Right, fail horn. Oh god, that was just terrible. What team is Wyatt R really playing right now?
Double agent.
But that really helped SODIPOP. They desperately need that wipe. They're going to keep the pressure moving forward. They're going to come right back in. Fragile does take out Hype early on, so HUCKLEBERRY trying to turn this back in their favor. They get 2 kills right away. This is looking really good. Agility's in the back line, though. Not going to get the pick off he's looking for as HUCKLEBERRY. They might just take this fight.
They did pop Transcendence in order to save Reinhardt's life, and it looks like it's actually going to pay off in a big way, as there's only a couple of members of SODIPOP left. 2 minutes left for this last checkpoint. They're not quite there yet. I do assume that they're going to make it here 6v, now only 3 up in the front line here, but yeah, checkpoint secured. They have 1 minute 55 seconds. That's about 2 or 3 pushes to try and make it about a 45-second span. So we'll see if they're going to be able to crash through here. They have only 1 ultimate, actually now 2 with Pyhero's Deadeye.
Yep, the Junkrat tower is on the way, by the way. That's still creeping in and around.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's on the way. It hasn't exploded yet.
Must have
maybe it just timed out. I don't know. But here comes Deadeye for Pyhero. Pyhero looking for those skulls. Does have a skull up on Reinhardt. Might use it to do Reinhardt shield damage. He's going to say high noon. Just kidding. Going to wait for a little bit longer. SODIPOP, they're holding far back, and they should be ready to explode here in just a moment. They do have Earth Shatter at the ready. Deadeye going to be coming out. Graviton Surge is in for SODIPOP. They got 3 in, and Grim Reality gets the follow through. A triple kill. Going to finish that out. And SODIPOP will hold on once more. And for HUCKLEBERRY now, they're going to be down to their last push. It is all or nothing for them here on Kings Row in their next push. If they fail it, that is it. SODIPOP will be up 1-0.
I have been impressed with HUCKLEBERRY up to this point, just getting past CLG and sticking it to SODIPOP here in a pretty decent match. but the Junkrat play may have ended up being their downfall. They really have one more chance. Sound Barrier comes out now for the defense. Grim Reality just mowing forward as a lawnmower would. Agility's helping him out there with the Reaper. Everything going the way of SODIPOP.
The only upside there for Huckleberry is that they died so incredibly quickly, and it died so close to the spawn that they actually get another chance. Their positioning is going to be terrible, and they need SODIPOP to mess up. But for SODIPOP, I think they should back out a little bit here. Give Huckleberry time to remove in, but here comes the Graviton Surge. They might have been caught out. They force out the Transcendence early on, but Pie Hero able to use the Deadeye, takes out Nomi. 6v5 now for Huckleberry. Has SODIPOP made a mistake? They get hit by a Graviton in turn. They still have full strength though, so Huckleberry moving forward. They're going to get pressure on the Reaper. Note is at full energy right now.
It's just not enough time though. 7 seconds to make it that distance is just about impossible. Unfortunately for Huckleberry, they had a great showing here in the first map against SODIPOP. Definitely performed better than I expected.
I actually hope the play of the game and then our personal highlights are just...
Incredible play of the game is Junkrat Death Blossom. Oh no, that was so brutal. Showing Hype's Graviton Surge getting eaten again. There it is. Flying Reaper. Excellent stuff there. And the poor Zen is like, what just happened to my team? Why is Reaper in my face?
Oh, man.
And Grim Reality
I
with
just
that
looked at
Deadeye. ZP's speechless, everyone. I think actual tears were coming out of his eyes when the Junkrat
It's so rare for me to lose composure on a play, but when a Reaper goes airborne because your own Junkrat has launched him into your team, I mean, it's afterwards I'm still getting hype over it because it's just...
Has that ever happened to you, like in quick play or comp?
Not pretty rarely. Yeah. I mean, that's a rare event.
I've played a lot of Reaper, and sometimes you'll get that boon, and you'll just be like, yes, everything according to plan. Or he'll launch you onto a ledge where people are, and you'll just Death Blossom through those. So
that was
satisfying.
I don't know, man. It's just like, okay, Reaper's, you know, this isn't the worst Death Blossom, or, you know, we're dealing with this pretty okay. Like, he hasn't gotten that much. And, oh, my God, is that man in a trench coat flying?
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a Death Blossom.
Yeah. Just, you can't do that. You can't sabotage your own team to such a ridiculous extent. And honestly, there was more that went on to the game than that, but my mind is just flooded with flying Reapers. The only thing would be better if it was a flying Roadhog with like Whole Hog. Then we could make all sorts of pigs flying jokes, and it would be an entirely new level of just terrible, corny jokes.
Right. But well, glad we got that moment. Obviously, SODIPOP is going to take the map 1-0. This is just a best of 3 for a ticket to Atlanta. So SODIPOP really just trying to put the last nail in the coffin on Huckleberry, on this group, and make their way there. And Nepal is going to be our next map, exactly as we predicted. If they were going to lose Kings Row, Nepal made the most sense. And
it does make the most sense because that's clearly where SODIPOP seems to be more vulnerable. When you look at their performance against C9, they looked really good on Kings Row. Well, Kings Row is out of the way, and they came close to actually taking away from SODIPOP at points, minus the Junkrat explosion that will not be named. So I think they actually do have a decent chance of taking it here on Nepal. At least it's a better chance than what they would have on Nambani, which is the other map in the pool. Upside, of course, for SODIPOP is that they can lose Nepal, and then they can move on to Nambani, which is the lab, which does have a lot of cool options for teams to employ. But for now, let's just see what happens as we move to the snowy mountains of Nepal.
We did actually see Huckleberry play against Cloud9 yesterday. It was not a complete stomp. In fact, Nepal is where Huckleberry came out of the gates and were the first ones to take the point, surprising myself and DDK. Or no, it was actually Jorisar I was casting that match with. But Huckleberry put up some signs of life on the control map, and then in that series against Algae, just kind of dunked on them 3-1 on that Lijiang Tower. So this, I'm definitely expecting Huckleberry to try and make it happen here and force that game 3.
Yeah, so I think Huckleberry, I mean, again, this is, if they have a chance here, it is their best chance here in Nepal. We'll see what they do. I think it's pretty standard coming out here. They will have the Winston and Zarya, which is the most common double tank combo. They're going to be up against Winston Zarya. Team comps on King Hill, usually pretty standard. Sometimes the question mark is Tracer or not the Tracer. And Huckleberry, they're choosing not the Tracer. SODIPOP is choosing the Tracer. And Grim Reality might just be the X factor on everyone's favorite mobile King of the Hill hero.
The mobile Tracer, very good analog form creep for those hit scan players. White R is going to be sticking to the Genji here. No fair this time around, getting the kill on Nomi very quickly, as that actually both Winstons end up falling. So even trades across the board now. Hype's actually going down is pretty bad for SODIPOP. They don't have any tanks left alive, and Kai Hero going to take full advantage of that as Reaper getting kills on the support.
Yeah, and it's not the worst opening here for Huckleberry. If they get one more pick, that should be all they need. Pyhero is able to take out Agilities, and that's going to be first cap here of the Huckleberry. So SODIPOP potentially showing some weakness here with King of the Hill. We'll see if they have an ability to turn this back, but certainly a good start for Huckleberry. And if SODIPOP sort of beats them the next fight, Huckleberry should be able to win the fight after that just off ult advantage alone.
Yeah, actually winning this first fight on control is so important just for that reason. Being able to build up the ultimates and basically extend your lead even further is very, very common. Grim Reality here on Tracer is going to be dashing over to the point, over to the left side, looking for support, most likely. Actually going to get a Genji up in his face, so does need to back off. The rest of the team, though, starting to inch forward. Lucio up in the front is something that I always find very scary. If you lose that Lucio early, you can lose the entire fight.
One problem here for SODIPOP is that they are just sort of bleeding people. They're not, this is not a coordinated attack. They sort of went in from all sides, but not at the same time. They lost people left, right, and center, and they're just going to have to fully regroup once more. The one upside for them, they are going to have ults coming up, but Huckleberry also has ult, so I almost feel like SODIPOP, they need to make sort of a gallant performance here, drain the ults, and they can make good ults of their own. But Grim Reality takes up Pyhero early on. That changes the calculus entirely. Soundbearer came out from Huckleberry. They only got one kill from it. Agilities finds his way to the back. The Soundbearer is gone. The Dragon Blade is out. Takes out Pharaoh. Looking for a little bit more. That's going to be 2 extra kills here from SODIPOP. And for SODIPOP, they're going to retake this in a fight that Huckleberry probably should have taken with how the ult situation was in the very beginning.
Yeah, Huckleberry, the only ult that they really used there was the Sound Barrier and then Winston's Primal Rage. They still have 4 available actually on both sides here, so the fact that SODIPOP finally flipped the point, getting some points on the board is going to help them out. They do have the defensive ults going around this time, so they could totally negate a Dragon Blade from Wyatt or a Death Blossom from Pyhero. They need to space out their ults and make sure that they can afford to take both of them.
All right, so here comes Huckleberry. They are moving right in. Pyhero, of course, Death Blossom at the ready. Graviton about to come out from Note, but he's stuck in the Graviton Vortex himself. Grim Reality will capitalize. There will be no counter Graviton as Note is dead. 3 kills here from the side of SODIPOP. As Grim Reality getting all the poke he needs. Wyatt going in deep, but it's not enough.
Yeah, Wyatt almost looked like it was the ritual suicide at that point after losing half his team, just kind of going in, not really jumping around trying to escape the point. Pyhero, of course, got a couple of kills, but it's not really going to help when the run back time is even for both sides. Grim Reality does have the Deadeye this time around. We've seen some great Deadeyes out of him before, but usually with some setup. Graviton Surge is going to come out first. Winston engaging Deadeye from the side. No one's over here challenging him at all, but they do spot him in time to back off and get line of sight.
They do back off. I like the positioning here from Grim Reality, though. Did force some real problems here for Huckleberry. However, they dealt with it pretty well. Grim Reality still alive, takes up Pyhero. He's still going to be able to lay in the poke. Agility's perhaps going too far deep. 25 HP finally goes down. Let's look at Grim Reality. He's still in this fight. There are a lot of wounded people here on the Huckleberry side. Grim Reality could shift this if he lands the right shots. Does have the backing, of course, of the friendly Zarya. Drops Graviton, sets him up for 2. And SODIPOP, a little bit rough, but it does look like they're going to hold.
Yeah, SODIPOP, despite that really interesting start there, allowing Huckleberry to take the first point and get all the way up to 65%. Ever since they have regained control, they've been really good with their positioning. It was a little tough figuring out the puzzle and, you know, cracking open that walnut of the point, but finally once they got in, they're going to protect it with their lives. 94% now for SODIPOP is likely to be the last case.
All right, here they go. Wyatt R, Sound Barrier up, Dragon Blade up. Nowhere near where he needs to be, though. It's like,
I don't have a dash.
I was told there was going to be a party here. Meanwhile, Grim Reality did find the party, took out 2 to start things out. The Dragon Blade is gone. It's SODIPOP well positioned to take this round. Pyhero looking for his last moment heroics. Does have a Death Blossom up, so that could be a thing. As SODIPOP is knocked back a little bit. Interesting, given how this is started. SODIPOP wasn't even down too many people, but they are getting pushed off the point. But here they go. They're turning it right back in.
No.
Good retreat and re-engage from SODIPOP, and they are going to take this round.
I was hopeful that, you know, I was thinking Huckleberry actually had a chance there. Genji was just all over that Zenyatta, but he let him escape, and actually Hype turned around and got a kill right after that, so everything just tumbling away from Huckleberry. They had a very solid start and just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, Huckleberry, I mean, they, like you said, the solid start was good, and it sort of gave us the idea that, all right, maybe SODIPOP does have a big weakness here at King of the Hill, and maybe they still do, but they weren't able to solidify things. They won 1 round. And let's just remind people of the stakes. They are 2 rounds away from securing their ticket to Atlanta.
Yeah, and that is a $300,000 tournament. Actually, none of the teams are going to get $300,000 themselves, but still a lot of money at stake for all these players. 16 teams going to that event. It's actually going to be a North American side playing out and a European side playing out. The grand finals will be NA's best versus EU's best. It's going to be very, very interesting at the end of September, but SODIPOP and Huckleberry both want to go as badly as they can. SODIPOP did a great job there, actually just reclaiming control of King Bro and that first point here on the call.
All right, well, Fraja leaping in right away here. Vast able to take out Jer in that Lucio beat Lucio setup. 2 quick kills here from Huckleberry, and this round, sort of same as the first in regards to setup here, where SODIPOP find themselves in the back foot, HUCKLEBERRY with a better early engage, and now better position here to potentially take first control at this point. The question is, will they be able to keep it?
Yeah, they just need to sit on it and not allow anyone to try and sneak it away. It's very interesting, actually. This village point is very often ninja'd because high ground is so important, but here we go. Pyhero actually just laying into Nomi. Nomi jumping in way beyond the rest of his team there, and Grim Reality didn't even have time to get in there to take shots before Winston was down.
All right, well, the point has been captured here by HUCKLEBERRY. Hype, though, is still in and around, fully charged up. Grim Reality is his backup. And SODIPOP slowly getting the kills they need to actually turn this in their favor, despite the early cap from HUCKLEBERRY. They need one or two more to actually do it. Pyhero still alive, still being a pest in the back, runs into Grim Reality, but takes a Peacemaker bullet for his trouble. It's going to be SODIPOP striking right back, and only 20%, 19% in fact, to HUCKLEBERRY.
Hyped and Winston actually being played by Nomi. They actually closed in on the supports of HUCKLEBERRY and actually got Zenyatta and Lucio just sandwiched between them. They had nowhere to run between the two teams, so great play there, great positioning. High Noon, Deadeye coming out now, finds the leaping Winston kill, one of the most satisfying Deadeye targets.
Yep, Winston goes down very early on, and that's going to set things up pretty well here for SODIPOP. They can back out a bit, comfortable in the fact that they know that they're not going to be left on with any degree. It's really up to HUCKLEBERRY to really overdive now with the characters that aren't great for it to take the point. And in fact, they're just going to get back out as SODIPOP will clean up the remnants. Yeah,
just let yourself go at this point. Try and get killed as quickly as you can. You don't really need to go in anymore, Tracer. I'm not sure what that was about, but Grim Reality gets every elimination with these very accurate McCree shots.
The thing about Grim Reality, he's showing us right now is that it's not that his early parts of the game are necessarily like way better than other McCrees, but man, when it's in cleanup time, when a McCree is not under assault and you need a McCree that just chain deaths, he is doing phenomenally well. There's no mercy. There's just no retreat for Grim Reality right now. But here we go. Sunbear's out here from HUCKLEBERRY. HUCKLEBERRY has all the ults and more. They're going to start out with those ults, but Agility's able to get to that back line. Got 2 kills right away. Looking for a little more. Dragonblade coming out late in the fight. Has a triple kill, and Agility's making it a quad, cleaning up HUCKLEBERRY in a fight where they had a lot of ults to their name.
Winston, just leave. Why? Your team was all dead. Fragile got the kill and got a little bit bold. Trying to take out a full health Genji was not going to work out, especially with Zen still on his last leg. So it looks like SODIPOP sitting at 81%. Really only need to hang on for about one more long engagement, and they will be, helping secure their ticket. Only, this is a best of 5, so it's not over yet.
Grim Reality coming in from the back, takes out a Vast right away. Here comes another Deadeye once more. Deadeye, of course, charges up pretty darn quickly. Doesn't get the skills to look for as a cancel. And oh no, the pulse bomb from the back. Held the Deadeye too long. Pyhero trying to be the hero of HUCKLEBERRY right now. And HUCKLEBERRY will be retaking this, so that pulse bomb a big reason why. Anytime you get a double kill as Tracer, it's pretty darn good. But for HUCKLEBERRY, let's just keep in mind, if they lose even a single fight here, they are going to be losing the round, and they're that much closer to being knocked out of the tournament.
Yeah, 99% is always the scary, scary situation. 35% is not that much. If you flip it, you're just donezo. So Wyatt, they're going to need to hang on several times here. They do not have any ultimates to work with, actually, on either side, but Grim Reality is almost like a walking ultimate himself.
Alrighty, well, here comes SODIPOP. They want to take this back right now. Again, ultimate's pretty low on both sides. Hype starting things out the bank, takes out the Lucio. 4 kills, 5 kills here. Hype on a rampage, going to set up SODIPOP. And SODIPOP, ladies and gentlemen, is 1 round away from going to Atlanta. HUCKLEBERRY truly against the wall. They need to pull the reverse sweep in the map. They need to pull the reverse sweep in the series. Otherwise, they're going to be watching from home.
It's a long road to Atlanta for HUCKLEBERRY right now, longer than it started out, as finally SODIPOP actually asserting themselves, showing us why they are the favorite here in this matchup. HUCKLEBERRY, of course, had enough points throughout the qualifiers to make it here, but they only had something like 10 qualifier points versus SODIPOP, who is sitting firmly with 30 or 40. So definitely playing up against SODIPOP at a pretty good pace, but they're just unable to shut the door. They're getting decent percentages every round. King's Row was much closer than we thought it would be, so they have the potential, but this is the moment. This is do or die time.
Alrighty, well, the gates are open. HUCKLEBERRY, if they are going to make that epic turnabout, it must begin now. And one thing I really do like coming out here is we have seen other teams run before us, notably the now RIP Northern Gaming used to run Junkrat a lot here from Mangachu. And I really like Junkrat here on the Sanctum stage for Nepal. It's really hard for people to actually get away from it. We'll see if it pays dividends for Huckleberry here, but Huckleberry, they've teased us. They've won the first fight multiple times here, only to lose things out after, so they need to win the first fight and go from there, but right now they're losing the poke war horribly. SODIPOP very close to wiping out everyone in Huckleberry. They need the back out right now. Even though they get the first pick, they are not healthy at all, Josh.
That's right, and Genji's actually going to dash out of there. Agility's actually got quite low. He does end up getting taken out by that Zenyatta. SODIPOP started to capture the point, but Huckleberry actually managed to stand on it and contest before it was fully flipped. Now Huckleberry actually sitting on the point. Grim Reality with this McCree, though, has an opportunity with the Deadeye. He's going to check his left. Always look left and right before you Deadeye. You don't want to just walk into your death. And there's really not a lot of targets for him right now. He's going to pick off a Vast. Really great shots on that wall-climbing Lucio.
Grim Reality right now, no one's looking at him, and that's bad with all the damage that he's actually doing. Someone needs to deal with this McCree before he takes out the entirety of the Huckleberry team. He's a big reason why things are going well. And finally, Pi Hero puts an end to that, wins the Cowboy duel, and Huckleberry might just take first control here. But again, they've been teasing us with this in the previous 2 rounds. I'm not feeling great about this at all. They need to show us that they can actually hold on.
Agilities has the Dragon Blade at the ready. Winston has Primal Rage ready to go. Grim Reality still hanging on to that Deadeye. Like I said, he's like a walking Deadeye as it is, so he's been hanging on to that for quite a while. Junkrat over on the far ledge, just shelling in with what he can.
Here comes Agilities using that Genji tech to go all the way into the back. Dragon Blade is unleashed, runs right into the Transcendence though, so not going to get the kills he's looking for. Does distract a lot of attention, but finally eats a Junkrat bomb to the face. Not quite what Agilities was looking for. I mean, at least he brought out the Transcendence, but here comes a Graviton. Graviton is out, getting matched here by the sound barrier, as Huckleberry showing great composure. They get the 2 kills they're looking for, and they counter ult for ult with great effect.
Grim Reality's, sorry, those Agilities playing basketball outside while the rest of this is happening indoors. Grim Reality actually started his Deadeye and actually didn't find anything for it earlier on in that last engagement, so he's already got it back. McCree, enjoy that while you can.
Well, taking a look here at Huckleberry here, they will have a tire up in just a moment. Deadeye versus Deadeye is also a thing that's going to happen. My Hero, though, has a Winston in his face. Not the greatest time to Deadeye right away. Well, space will be made by the rest of his team coming to his aid. Happy Little Skulls coming right up. Soundbear again making it a little bit harder to get, but oh no! The Zarya right click to leading Pi Hero there. Now a 6v5 in favor of SODIPOP. And they are suffering a few casualties, but they are starting to turn things more in the favor. Eva Bomb going to make a little bit of space here. But look at Grim Reality, 200 HP, looking for cleanup. This is his zone. He's looking for it right now, and they're going to be pushing out Huckleberry once more as they recap the point.
I see the Fragile saying Frig there. I think he actually got booped off from his Diva suit while still in the suit, and he didn't have flight available is what it looked like. And that's always a bad feeling. The Deadeye dying during the Deadeye when you actually have Red Skulls available too, that's another terrible feeling.
I gotta say, when you're on cast, that's also good composure to say Frig and not the other word that you don't want to see on cast. Like, you know, that's clutch in the moment.
That. Yeah,
exactly.
For that,
you don't want to put those things onto a family-friendly broadcast, but either way.
Wyatt Art has his tire available. This could come out at any moment and at least scare SODIPOP away from the point, try and open the door. He's actually jumped down already, though. He's a little bit surrounded. I'm a little scared for him. Agility's deflecting. Junkrat bombs is never a good thing for that confined space, but he is actually going to get enough space to stay alive here until this next engagement.
Alrighty, well, it is trading off to start things out here. Zarya is dead here for the side of Huckleberry. That's not a great hero to lose to the very beginning. Wyatt Art ends up losing his life in the building as SODIPOP once more taking control. Sound barrier is what they're going to use to secure this fight. Grim Reality not getting much off the Deadeye, though. Ends up getting flanked in turn. Pi Hero on the Agility, so we'll see how this works out. He's going to open with the Deadeye of his own. Skulls are popping up, looking for it. Doesn't get what he's looking for. As Grim Reality still alive, still doing work in the back.
These Deadeyes have been some of the least effective of any King of the Hill map I think we've ever watched. Just really great counterplay from everybody, getting line of sight, using their ultimate.
But here's the grounding right now. SODIPOP is going to win this fight, and Huckleberry, they need to find a way to put this in the overtime. They are 10% away from being eliminated. SODIPOP, they've almost booked their ticket to Atlanta. Agility's going in deep. He wants to secure this right now. He's pushing them back. 2% left. Will SODIPOP do it? It is in overtime. Huckleberry, this is their last gasp. SODIPOP, they just need a little bit more. GG is called, and SODIPOP, we will see you in Atlanta.
Well done, SODIPOP. Huckleberry, you tried your best. You definitely made some fans. I think Wyatt R is someone I'm definitely going to be watching out for in the future. Pi Hero had some great moments as well. There were just a lot of great plays kind of throughout, but SODIPOP just outmuscled them. They didn't go with the triple tank this time.
Wyatt R had some great fair plays and made fans from that, but also had the greatest sabotage that I think I've seen in a long time. Because, I mean, it's joking, it's jovial, right? I mean, it was hilarious to watch that happened back on Kings Row, to the point that we're talking about even right after Nepal.
Yeah.
But if that didn't happen, there was actually a good chance that they could have won Kings Row, and who knows what happens on the body there. So it is a little bit heartbreaking. But right now we are rejoined at the desk by, of course, Ben and Rachel. And how are you guys doing?
I'm doing great, Andy. And you know what? I did see a lot of action on Twitter. I went out to check that hashtag OverwatchOpen. And we saw a lot of conversations about that Reaper ult. Everyone from all sides, very shocked, very, dare I say, impressed by Wyatt and his ability to work against his team in that moment, when otherwise he did so much for his team. And Ben, you've been following Wyatt. You liked his Pharah play, you liked his Genji play. Tell me, what did you like today?
Yeah, definitely saw some more good stuff from him with those characters. But unfortunately for Wyatt, it didn't seem like Junkrat worked out quite the same way. Obviously, in that one example, really didn't end up working out. But even on the control point maps, he tried to force Junkrat into the play a little bit. He played Junkrat also on attack on King's Row. And of course, you do tend to see Pharah. We did see a lot of Pharah in the previous metas on attack on King's Row, but it just didn't feel like it was giving enough room for the attacking team to like actually gain any kind of advantage when he was playing Junkrat on attack.
Yeah, I mean, Junkrat's an interesting case. I mean, I think there are points where it can be effective and can catch people off guard, but overall, you're not getting the target, like the immediate, I want to kill a target right now power that you get with other heroes with Junkrat. It's more area denial, it's good poke, but I think it's best suited on attack for areas like control points, or where you're going in a point A, for example, and people have to be in and around. It's better in situations like that than longer payload areas.
For
the sailing Reaper.
Oh, man.
Sail.
I mean, it was speed boosted, too, so he really took off. I mean,
Yeah, the speed boosted Reaper at that, yeah.
You know, if there's like any headcanon for that, is that Reaper learned how to spin so fast that he becomes a helicopter.
It's that move. A lot of commentators like to call it the helicopter move, but really that's the first time we've seen it truly take off.
That's the first time he just spun so fast that he actually went into the air.
Yeah, he was actually almost Pharah-like in that. But you're right, Junkrat, just going back to the Junkrat point, I wanted to add to that. Essentially, Junkrat is really good at entrenched positions, stopping people from coming through doors. It's a little awkward when you're actually trying to push forward and launch bombs over the payload to hit whoever happens to be there. It's a little rough.
Yeah, and I want to call out Pi Hero, who really did end up stepping up on Nepal. In fact, he's played better and better throughout the course of the night, starting a little bit quiet, but really came into his own on Nepal. That said, Grim Reality, as soon as he switched to McCree, he started contributing in such a big way. He started out on Nepal as Tracer, and we do see on Control Point, Tracer has become such a staple of a lot of team strategies. He started out on Tracer, couldn't make it work, switched to McCree, and as soon as he rounds the corner, he's getting headshots, he's getting kills, like right away.
I can just say from seeing Grim Reality in pubs since basically the beginning of time and everything else, I mean, his playtime on McCree clearly outclasses his playtime on other heroes in general. So, I mean, it's not a huge surprise. Now, that could be a weakness later on because you never know if McCree is going to lose his current level of power. Maybe he's not going to be as much in the meta at points later on. So for Grim Reality, he is a very good hit scan player, but he's going to need to somehow transfer some of that skill to other heroes, especially as they prep now on going to Atlanta.
All right, well, let's take a quick look at the incredible play of the game, sponsored by Republic of Gamers, and see which one we have selected here. I can think of, I mean, the most incredible play of the game.
It has
but
to
we actually, you know, we saw a lot of great stuff from Agilities,
We're gonna
too.
give it to
He did
Wyatt.
kill
No.
5, you know, Grim Reality, lots of great plays.
Yep.
So.
True enough, and we'll see now it is going to be Agilities, the Flying Reaper.
I mean,
so
all right.
here's the
Can we
speed
just
boost.
play this over and over again?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Like just
Slow
times
motion.
in a
CP
row.
was saying, you know, just speed boost in, you'll have it.
I think
And
we're going to Death Blossom, and it's going to go down a lot. Damn
it paid off so well. You can see all those hundreds. And Zen is just like, I had a team a second ago. What happened?
How did he get over here?
I'm in the back.
Physics.
Well, the thing about Death Blossom is to make it work, usually you have to combo it with a Zarya bubble, with a speed boost. You have to really build a whole team composition. This time the other team even assisting.
Well, I mean, if you know that a Junkrat on the other team is going to be duped into exploding his concussive mine and giving you the perfect aerial attack, and then enough to go on the Zenyatta after, just there's so much good about that play to the point that, like, I'm still talking about it.
The fact that it got a triple, like it wasn't even just like one guy was there.
No,
it was like the whole team on the other receiving end of that Death Blossom. Yeah.
I mean,
Just brutal.
You know, Overwatch Reddit, you know, video dubbers out there. I want to see
Giffy cat that.
1,001
Giffy cat
incarnations
that
of
one.
this Reaper.
Yeah.
Tweet us the Giphy Cat, hashtag OWOpen.
Yeah, we would love it, and I'm
that.
sure either ELEAGUE or @Faceit or one of both perhaps would retweet
Maybe.
you. What an incentive,
Yep.
guys! But really great plays today. And I mean, is there anyone else you guys want to highlight? Any spectacular plays you saw? Maybe from some of our supports, maybe from some of our tanks.
I mean, Agilities did play super well. We saw some big moments out of him, but I think the story of this match was really two underdog teams looking to make a name for themselves. I mean, that really is the whole point of the OW Open, right? The Overwatch Open. These teams, not only are they playing here in the playoffs, they got here through 256-team bracket Open Cups, and they've finally made their way here. And we did talk about it before the match as well. Teams that are qualifying into this tournament are going to be attracting the attention of potential esports organizations, sponsors looking to pick up new teams. So huge congrats to SODIPOP, because they've really just landed on the map. You know, if you're a super hardcore follower of Overwatch, they were already on your radar, but now they're going to be on a much bigger scale.
Well, yeah, I think to your point here is that when you do see SODIPOP next month in the ELEAGUE finals, I very highly doubt that they're going to be called SODIPOP. I think it's very likely that within the next few weeks they will be picked up by a sponsor that does want to be represented at ELEAGUE. So let me just say preemptively, congrats to the SODIPOP for making the ELEAGUE, and congrats on your new sponsor, whoever it might be.
I really hope they get something now with that kind of hype. Hype and hyped are on the team.
I've
so
never this hyped at the desk, but man, that was just...
He's just giggling. He's all.
It was so good. I mean...
He's just also a little delirious. We've been casting a
We
lot
have,
of Overwatch the last 3 days, and it's not stopping. Tomorrow,
Well,
Rachel,
actually,
you can let us know.
Speaking of a lot of Overwatch, having casted, and in the future to cast, let's take a quick look at our brackets. We've already gone through for North America. We saw Envious, and we saw Splice making it out of that bracket. Selfless, and of course, staying behind. But moving on to Group B, Cloud9 is going to come out at the top of this bracket, and we just saw SODIPOP squeak their way through for that second qualification. Coming up tomorrow, we have Group C starting, and that's going to have Fnatic, Mono, Team Liquid, and Clutch. And our Group D, of course, Complexity. We have Gecko Fox, NRG, and Method. Gecko Fox really messing with my head. I like a lot of between them and CLG.
Yeah.
The parity
I
teams
love
are
it.
strong.
I think esports has gone on long enough where we have our own in jokes and self-referential moments. So I get it. It's cool stuff. Guys.
Let's go Gecko
You know,
Fox.
these last two groups yet to play in North America, I think, are both going to be super interesting. On one hand, you've got Group C that has Team Liquid. Well, first of all, Fnatic. We expect them to go through, for sure.
They're the favorite.
But Team Liquid playing so damn well, especially with the addition of Rafa to their roster, really rounded things out. But Clutch, we saw them play all the way back at Agents Rising, and they actually really impressed. I mean, they put up good fights against all of the teams at that tournament, and they've been a little bit quiet, but definitely going to be looking to see if Clutch can turn some heads.
Well, they were one of the first teams to really get together. I believe they boot camped even before
Colorado.
Agents Rising in Colorado at the Colorado Clutch Studios.
It's like
I
an
think
arena.
it's a game
a
arena
LAN
center,
cafe,
right?
sort of. Yeah.
So what a great place to play and practice, and what a cool thing to represent coming out here in this tournament.
Yeah, Clutch, I mean, they're going to have a tough time trying to cement themselves as a top 8 NA team, because that's essentially what we're getting out of these groups is top 8 North America. SODIPOP did it today, but Clutch against Liquid and Fnatic, that's pretty rough as it is, not to mention, you know, whatever other teams could stand in their way. HUCKLEBERRY pulled the upset on CLG, for example, so anything could happen. Tomorrow we're doing all of Group C. 5 matches straight, so we'll get to see plenty of all of those teams.
All right, well, we actually have an interview with Grim Reality ready. We weren't
Nice.
just talking, we were filling until he was ready. So Grim Reality, we've seen you on your McCree, we've seen you on your Tracer, but mostly we've seen you on the kill feed. So welcome, and congratulations on qualifying. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming out and talking to us. So Grim Reality, tell us a little bit about SODIPOP, how this team got together, and how you've been performing together.
I'm pretty sure for the most part, we were all just solo queue players. One of us asked each other to join a team, and we basically just formed off of that. And yeah.
Pub stars. I love it.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. Who took the initiative there? Who was the first one to say, you know what, let's Voltron this?
I'm not sure about the rest of them, but one of my past team members, Decop, actually invited me.
Ah, okay. I know that Hyped even from early closed beta, was always looking to play competitive. He's actually played for a couple of different teams, so I think he was definitely a great proponent of trying to get something together. He tried out for a couple of different teams, and I think he's landed in a good spot with you guys on SODIPOP. Grim Reality, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your gaming history? Tell us more about yourself so that next time you're just absolutely destroying everyone, we have a little more context for the viewers.
Yeah, for sure. This is actually the first like competitive game I played.
Nice.
Before I just like casually played League with my friends.
Wow.
And no real FPS background, so
Cool.
I don't know. I just practice a lot.
So I have an internal team politics question because I know for a fact that this went on behind the scenes, all the rest. But I guess here's the thing. In Overwatch and esports and just FPS games in general, there's a ladder, right, where you have an impressive performance with a team, and then you get poached by another team and get poached by another team, and until finally, you're like Zappery, where you start with 2 different teams, and then suddenly you're with Graviton Surge, and you're at the top. I know that you haven't been impressing people since early appearances of SODIPOP, but that was back when SODIPOP wasn't as good as they are now. Why did you stick with SODIPOP instead of getting poached way back when? Because that's a decision that not a lot of other players would have made. A lot of other players would have sort of traded up instead of working to make SODIPOP the team it is now.
Yeah, for sure. A while back ago, I did get poached and I did leave.
Oh.
But I really thought hard about it. It sounds horrible. But I thought hard about it, and I was really sad with myself that I did that because, like, looking at all of my team's mentalities, we're all like lined up. We all want to win. We want to practice hard. And they're just a really fun group to play with, just in general. Like, even during the tournament, our comms are just hilarious. Even when they're
what about
it's
Flying
serious
Reapers?
games.
Yeah, tell us about Flying Reapers. Was that part of your strategy going in?
Yeah.
No, there's no way to just
calculations
go
are
in and hit the
insane.
Junkrat concussive mine. It'll all work out. I don't believe you.
I mean,
It happens.
Yeah.
You gotta always be ready for it.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So actually,
you
instead
gotta
of
be ready for that type of stuff.
instead of telling us about the planning, give us a brief recreation of the comms at that moment.
So we go into a team fight with a decently steady plan. Comms are clear, and as soon as we get into a team fight, it's just like, "Oh, kill this guy!" Everybody's screaming. It's a pretty great time. I'm not gonna lie.
Just the Agilities play specifically, though.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Death
we
Blossom
don't-
on King's Row. We want to know. Was Agilities just laughing his butt off like ZP was at the desk? Do you know what we're talking about at all?
Not really.
Oh,
I'm not
wow.
gonna lie
Grim.
to you.
You have to watch the VOD, man,
Yeah.
because
Some
there was
stuff
a
went down.
hilarious play.
Yeah, things blew up.
Yeah.
Things literally went up.
I can't believe
and
Agilities
over,
wasn't
and
losing his
in.
mind after that. He actually,
Yeah,
so
he-
Agilities went in for a Death Blossom defending King's Row and got launched by an offensive Junkrat mine to kill 3 people and get
Yeah.
to follow up on Zen. He killed everybody for free, essentially. I can't believe you guys
It's
didn't
probably planned.
realize it.
Agility's-
Yeah.
Obviously.
All
Super
according to
planned.
plan.
I actually want to ask, in your match against Cloud9, you just went on a couple ridiculous tears. I mean,
Yeah.
was that even surprising to you? 'Cause it was surprising to us.
Yeah, it was. Like, even right now, this is like my first interview. This is my first time doing anything competitive. So, like, I'm just really nervous. You feel me?
Sure.
You're doing great, though.
Yeah.
So, I didn't necessarily expect it, but I know I'm decent at aiming. So
I'd say so.
I kind of
fair.
expected it, I guess.
Yeah, you had some great moments. I actually called you a walking Deadeye because you were just headshotting everything. There were a couple of times where you just mowed through them without missing shots. Really, really impressive stuff for someone who hasn't played FPS professionally before.
So I'm going to put you on the spot once more and say, for potential sponsors that are watching right now and they want to have a team in ELEAGUE, how many bags of cash do they need to bring you guys? But no, seriously, like, what words do you want to say to a sponsor here right now after that performance, and why should they look at you guys seriously?
We're not greedy people, so we're happy with what we get, and we just work hard for what we want.
Okay.
And especially if we're under someone else's name, we're gonna give it our all.
So I guess maybe a final question as we're starting to go along with this, but I do want to know, we've been asking all the teams who've been booking their tickets to Atlanta, do you think you guys are going to be able to get together before the event, meet in person, try to work out any weird stuff you might have during the qualifiers and just become 100% for the LAN?
We're pretty positive we can go. 2 of our members are, including me, not of age, so our moms are kind of skeptical about it. My mom's pretty chill with it. But I think we're gonna be able to.
Bring a
to do it,
chaperone.
you know?
All right. Well, if you need somebody to
Need
call
an
your
adult.
mom and explain it, we
Yeah,
have a desk of 4
We'll
people
vouch for you.
here, and we'll vouch for you. But thank you so much for your time, Grim Reality. Congratulations once again on you and your team qualifying. An excellent performance, and hopefully Mom is proud because you did damn good tonight. So thank you for coming out to talk to us. Guys, as we wrap up the night, is there anything you want to say here about Group B that we just finished up?
I just got to say props to Huckleberry, actually, just making a name for themselves basically for the first
absolutely,
time.
yeah.
I'd never cast them before. We had some great moments throughout, and I think they are on the rise, so I hope they continue at it.
Yeah, this group was very strong. Even CLG had a lot of great games before this. It was a shame to see them go out, but congratulations to all the teams that played. I hope they're feeling good, and I hope the sponsors out there are watching. But thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been a wonderful Group B, and we will see you tomorrow, even earlier. So check your broadcast schedule. That's all going to be on OverwatchOpen.com. Until then, have a great night.